Hello there, you're welcome to News at 6, coming to you live from our studios here at the John Evans at Mills High Street. Remember, this news is brought to you by Sonotech, Aztec Roofing Sheets and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and of course, Vena Mineral Water. Do join us on Facebook and YouTube at Adoatv Ghana. My name is Cassandra Kujo. Coming up, according to our Flower E-Block, Minority Volta Caucus calls on President to retract build its statement. Akoto Ampao, our memorandum has no connection with legalization of homosexuality. And of course, ballot stuffing allegations, NDC declares readiness to assist with investigations. We've got the details and more. Do stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. Now let's take some details. The Minority Volta Caucus in Parliament are demanding that His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to retract what they describe as an upfront and total disrespect to Togbe Amenyafiti and the entire Volta region for his build it yourself response to the uncompleted E-Block in Aflao. According to them, Togbe Amenyafiti rather deserves praise for prioritizing education and not the harsh disrespect from the president.
This call follows the president's statement to Togbe Azonganga Amenyafiti, the people of Aflao, telling the chief to go ahead and complete the Aflao E-Block if he feels it has taken too long to be completed.
Self has complained. Ohini wa Aflao patch say E-Block no oba yenye hwehwe. Inti on my education minister up to February say ombe ye hu bibi. It's on the set.
Minister ultimatum.
Also abre.
The 9 billion Ghana City project, which was one of the many projects started during the Eswal Mahama's administration and was expected to serve the residents of Aflao and its environs, but was abandoned after Mr. Mahama left office in 2017. This response did not go down well with the people of Aflao, and subsequently the Minority Volta Caucus of Parliament. At a press conference outside the chambers of Parliament, MP for Ketu South, Jifa Gomashi, noted that in the supreme interest of the country's peace and unity, as well as to promote diversity, Article 26 of the 1992 Constitution, the cultural policy of Ghana and UNESCO supports the practice of culture.
Our revered chiefs and custodians of our proud traditions deserve utmost respect at all times, regardless of which part of the country they exercise their authority and what they wear or in which region they come from. In the supreme interest of this country's peace and unity and to promote diversity, Article 26 of the 1992 Constitution states in unambiguous language that every person is entitled to enjoy, practice, profess, maintain, and promote any culture, language, tradition, or religion subject to the provisions of this Constitution. The United Nations also has UNESCO and has written the following in its vision. In this spirit, I quote, "In this spirit, UNESCO develops educational tools to help people live in as global citizens free of hate and intolerance by promoting cultural heritage and the equal dignity of all cultures. I dare add, irrespective of the stool or skin they sit on." Additionally, in the cultural policy of Ghana, the question of culture is succinctly captured in the introduction as, I quote, "Our culture is a way of life evolved by our people through experience and reflection in the attempt to fashion a harmonious coexistence with our environment."
In this light, Togbe Amenyafiti deserves praise for prioritizing education and not the harsh disrespect from the president.
This culture is dynamic and gives order and meaning to the social, political, economic, aesthetic, and religious practices of our people. our culture also gives us a distinct identity as a people. The respected traditional ruler merely advocated for an abandoned E-block in his community to be completed so his people will have fair access to education. As citizens and bona fide taxpayers, that wasn't too much to ask. Togbi Adongaga Amanyafiti V, Daho, of the Aflao traditional area, deserves praise for prioritizing education and speaking out against the culture of abandoning inherited projects. He does not deserve such disrespect from the President of the Republic of Ghana.
Hence, they demand a retraction and an apology from the President to the Aflao chief.
The President's conduct, which we do not see him exhibit against chiefs from other parts of the country, is a total affront to the entire Volta region and the Aflao traditional area in particular. We demand a retraction and apology from His Excellency the President. A united Ghana with a common destiny is undermined by such reckless and discriminatory conduct of the President.
That notwithstanding, the Ketu South legislature disclosed that a GoFundMe account would be created to receive donations and support to aid complete the E-block, as the President says.
Going forward, I will be launching a GoFundMe account for donations to finish the E-block as instructed by the President's infamous retort, and I entreat all Aflauvio and well-meaning Ghanaians to donate generously. Akwana Misia.
Now away from that, Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Otumfuo Saitutu II, has warned encroachers of the university land to stay off or face his wrath. He says any chief who allocates parts of the KNUST land will have themselves to blame. The Asante dared anybody claiming to own a part of the university land to head to court, adding that he will face the court to state his authority over the lands. The next report has more.
No. This 70th-year journey has not been on a bed of roses. It's been through the toils and selfless sacrifices of others, and a special attention and mention must be made of my uncle, Nana Otumfuo Saitutu II, who bought into the vision of the President at the time and voluntarily leased large tracts of land for the establishment of the university. My address cannot be complete without acknowledging the chiefs and people who supported my uncle at the time. And I realized that when the minister was speaking, and now you actually were clapping and like that. In retrospect, we acted as prophets and seers and saw the great opportunities that the little seed that was planted as a university will bring to generations of more. My appreciation also goes to all students and staff, both present and past, for their invaluable contribution towards the development of the university. At this point, when the minister raised the issue about communities, I have decided that I would, upon the advice of the council, to establish a chair where we would then establish a chair in Asante history at the Department of History and Political Studies to deepen the relationship between the University of Asia and the community. But whilst we say that, let me use this platform to highlight a very disturbing development which has come to my attention in recent times, and that is the encroachment of university lands. I condemn it in no uncertain terms and strongly send a note of caution to all those involved to desist from it or face my wrath. The chiefs and whoever, the lands are mine and you are just getting it. portion of the land of the university at all. And you can go to any court, take it there. I'm sure also there will be a judge who will know that the Constitution and the Constitution of Ashanti says that there's no family land in Ashanti. And therefore, get the lawyers to take you to I'll get the court also to take 10 over the decisions. To affirm my authority on the land.
Now to our next story, lawyer Koto Ampao, a member of Concerned Citizens Against the Anti-LGBTQ Bill, says their memorandum, which has been submitted to Parliament against the passage of Anti-LGBTQI Bill into law, is not to legalize same-sex marriage. Mr. Ampao says this is misinformation, just to sway people's attention from what the memorandum is really about.
Lawyer Koto Ampao has come out to disregard circulating information with regard to the memorandum he and 17 concerned citizens have presented to Parliament against the anti-LGBTQI+ bill. The legal practitioner at a press conference said it is mischievous for everyone to say that their group is for the legalization of same-sex marriage, and according to him, expects the media to challenge persons who deliberately or out of ignorance propagate such disinformation. Mr. Ampao and 17 others, including Professor Emeritus Sechua Menu, Professor Kweku Kakari, Professor Odrugajekpo, Dr. Kujua Santi, had submitted a memorandum to Parliament describing the anti-LGBTQI+ bill laid before Parliament as insignificant and unconstitutional, and called for its rejection. The anti-LGBTQI+ bill, titled The Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Bill 2021, submitted to Parliament in June this year, seeks to push for LGBTQI community members and those who advocate for their rights to be fined and jailed between 3 to 5 years and beyond for identifying with that sexual orientation. Mr. Ampao said it was disingenuous to discredit opposition to the bill as being informed by foreign interests, as it is denied the legacy of domestic voices which were dissenting, which the bill is based, and suggests that only those in favor of the bill should qualify to be regarded as real Ghanaians. He said Ghanaians will do well to remember that some of the civil society voices calling for the protection of LGBTQI+ rights today have in the past championed other human rights that were not necessarily grounded in our culture or tradition, such as freedom of association and free media. He added, Ms. Selassie Tega of the Human Rights Advocacy Center and a member of the group disputed comment that homosexuality was a mental disorder that could be corrected by conversion therapy. Speaking about the protection of children from sexual abuse, she said there was no need to single out homosexuals and fan hatred against them as if they were the main predators and pedophiles when crime statistics from the Ghana Police Service proved otherwise. Professor Emeritus Menu asks both homosexuals and heterosexuals be dealt with if they sexually harass children, adding that it was unfair to place a high focus on homosexuals. He said, homosexuals are not asking for marriage or anything from Parliament. They are not hurting anyone, so they should be left alone, she stressed.
Remember, you can stream the news live on Facebook and YouTube at Adoatv Ghana. Let's take some more stories. Honorable Ambrose Derry, Minister of Interior, has charged the board of the Small Arms Commission to put in robust measures to effectively control the illicit trade, manufacture and flow of small weapons into the country. That, he said, called for enhanced and sustainable preventive approaches and raising the alertness and the capacities of the security agencies, especially at entry points of the country.
Minister of Interior Honorable Ambrose Derry has charged the Board of Small Arms Commission to put in robust measures to effectively control the illicit trade, manufacture and flow of small arms and light weapons into the country. The minister gave the advice at the inauguration of a 15-member Board of National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons in Accra. He said, though Ghana was widely seen as a beacon of peace and shining example of democracy and good governance in the West African region, chieftaincy and land dispute, insightful language in the media, and the insecurity situation in neighboring countries remain challenges to the country's internal peace. Small arms and light weapons, the minister stated, were the major threats to the peace of the country and must be addressed. He said, the country was also witnessing new forms of security threats characterized by terrorism, insurgency, maritime insecurity, cyber crimes, rising levels of violent extremism, and transnational organized crimes, which must be watched. Those threats, he said, had devastating effects on the internal security and civilian population because they rallied heavily on small arms and light weapons as major tools for executing evil acts. The United Nations Office of Disarmament Affairs revealed that about 875 million small arms and light weapons are currently in circulation globally. Studies have shown that a lot of small arms and light weapons move from the illicit to the illicit markets through weak control and monitoring mechanisms. He said extreme groups such as Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, Ansar Dine, Mozambique ISIS had used idle youth and small arms and light weapons to hit soft targets in neighboring countries Mali, Nigeria, and recently Burkina Faso. The minister said the fight against small arms and light weapons was a key priority for government and that stopping the menace would prevent conflict, enhance internal security, prevent violent crimes, and promote sustainable development. In 2020, the ministry facilitated and supported the commission to set up offices in 5 regions: Ashanti, North, Upper East, Upper West, and Western region, and the Aflao border post. Professor Paul Frimpong Manso, the board chairman of the commission, thanked government for the opportunity and pledged the commitment of the members of the board to guide the commission to make great strides in achieving its mandate. Some of the board members include Mr. Jones Bote Aple from the commission, Mr. Gabriel Nso Ade, and J.O. Sylvester Nkrumah. Presidential nominees also included Colonel Foster Ohene Kai and Colonel Gaspar D.K. Asare of the Ghana Armed Forces, COP Ken Yeboah, COP Christian Tete Yohuno from the Ghana Police Service, amongst others.
Now over to some politics. The opposition National Democratic Congress has served notice with its intention to serve the CID with evidence of its allegation of ballot stuffing in favor of ruling governing party during the 2020 elections, hitting back at the EC after the back and forth as aftermath of the 2020. The party's General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia, speaking to journalists earlier this week, says the party is ready to file an official complaint to aid investigation.
We take note with satisfaction of Bosman Asare's call on Ghana Police Service to investigate the facts put out by President Mahama. Given that President Mahama was on solid ground when making these statements, the NDC stands ever prepared to assist in any credible investigation into the matters raised. We are aware, however, that Bosman Asare's call is only a red herring because he cannot feign ignorance of the fact that the police service is already seized with all the evidence on this matter. On the specific printing of 1 million excess ballot papers and arrest of persons in possession of the printed ballot papers, the Ghana Police Service carried out the arrest and therefore should be providing update on the status of investigation to the population. All that Bosman Asare needs to do is to call on the Attorney General to ask the police to prosecute the offenders. It beggars belief that Bosman Asare will now join the call for investigation into the killing of 8 Ghanaians 10 whole months after the police service had assured Ghanaians it was looking into the killings. The truth is that there is no real interest on the part of the police and the government to bring the perpetrators of the heinous crimes to justice because the killings serve the end of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia and MPP government insofar as it ensures their retention in power. So let the new IGP show the same commitment he has so far shown in bringing errant members of society to book over misdemeanors on the more serious crimes of extrajudicial killings. And the evidence is right in the bosom of the Ghana Police Service. The foregoing demonstrate clearly that the 2020 elections were the worst in Ghana's history. The EC must accept this truth and work towards improving its image and regain the confidence of Ghanaians and all stakeholders.
Now away from that, let's take some sport. 45 referees and 45 assistant referees have completed a 5-day intensive training course at the Ghana Man Soccer Center of Excellence ahead of the start of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League season. The referees and assistant referees were taken through various courses such as analysis of match situations, offside, handball situation, etc. Participants were also taken through practical integrated training sessions with players as part of their training program. FIFA CAF referees instructor Lee Kin-shong coordinated the course with other referees instructors.
Premier League referee. I think this course has been a great one. With a few amendments that have been made in the laws of the game, our instructors have taken us through, and we are fully abreast with the current trend of the laws, especially with the handball law. And I think it's a great experience. This time we added the real-time corrections where we had a video camera which is taking your practical session and then you go for review. And I think it's one of a kind that has been done from the past things we were doing. I think going forward, I think this season, with whatever we have done here with the fitness check and everything, I think we are poised up for the Premier League, and the public should expect the best from us, and we hope to deliver our best, and God being our helper. Thank you.
This course organized yearly is very educative. It helps us get more insight about the laws of the game, and I encourage that this also transcends to the general public, because we learn a lot of changes are being made in the law year in, year out, but we are being educated. What about the public? So I believe that this course, as it helps us, also is being organized by the public to also educate them. Thank you.
My name is Richard Kumejiro from the Volta region, and we've been here for the past 4 days. And I think that we've had enough technical training of referees. The impact was great. The instructors who came around to impact knowledge on us, they were very good. They were straight to the point, and we've picked a lot of insight from there. It is a nice course which is going to help a lot at the grassroots. We are going out there to train referees. Also train district instructors who will also be assisting our work. We believe that if this is carried out very well, Ghana would be seen on the world stage as producing one of the best referees to come. And we believe that the Catch Them Young Referees program instituted by the GFA will be something that FIFA would get a lot of referees from. We believe we'll do well when we get out there. Thank you.
Now let's take some happenings in the world of business. The General Secretary of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, Samuel Ato-Agre, has said Ghana needs to take off the bottlenecks to penetrate the West African market, stating that Ghana needs to have strong financing before the industry can partake in the AFCFTA. He spoke with my colleague Na Anyama of the Business Desk.
I want to find out how the association body is working towards taking advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has commenced on January 1, 2021.
Well, I should say that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that came into force, it's have its own benefits and challenges.
Sure.
And initially when it was introduced, we realized that it has come to solve a lot of problems for our local industries. Why am I saying so? It was meant to open up the external market for industries in Ghana. But unfortunately, when we look at it as it stands now, we are still having some challenges in terms of assessing even just our immediate neighbors.
Have any of your members been able to be successful in terms of these continental trade?
Well, I won't say that they have been successful, because it's an ongoing trend and it has come to stay.
So any of the members have been able to...
Those who are exporting outside the Ghana enclave,
Sure.
I would say that yes, they have benefited and they will keep on expanding, because barring all challenges, if they're able to take out the bottlenecks that we look at, if they should bring anything for us to look at, we'll still discuss it. And therefore, if that one should be anything to write home about, we would want to penetrate within the West African market, and then also from the West African market we move into the general continental aspect of it. But then the challenges that some are facing is where you would then have to have a strong financial background to be able to reach out to these areas. What we are looking at is that in future, when there's an expansion, we know that we'll benefit from. We'll still continue taking that as an advantage and then ensuring that we become part of the African continental system.
This is where we bring the news to an end, but before we go, here's the recap of our top story. According to the Flower E-Block, Minority Volta Caucus calls on President to retract build its statement. Remember, this news was proudly brought to you by Sonotech, Aztec Roofing Sheets and Cookware, Blue City Tiles and Accessories, and of course, Vena Mineral Water. My name is Cassandra Kuju. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.